Richarlison will complete his move to Tottenham Football Club today after completing his medical. A £60 million deal has been agreed between Everton and Tottenham Hotspur. This is one of the biggest transfers in Tottenham's history. They are trying to make waves. They are trying to make inroads. They're also linked with Lenglet on loan from Barcelona to strengthen the options for Antonio Conte ahead of the brand new season where expectation is very high indeed. We've also got news today on Antony demanding and pushing for this Manchester United move. Of course, a big day in the race for Rafinha for Chelsea. Arsenal and Barcelona still working on that deal. But it's the fan phoning this morning for you to come on and for you to have your say. Make sure you're smashing that like button. Subscribe. Leave all your comments below as well, especially if you've watched the pre-upload. Get your comments in. Tottenham, Richarlison, done deal between the clubs. Let's go. Morning and welcome back to the Terrace, a morning edition of the Done Deal Show. Spurs agree their deal with Everton over Richarlison. It's the formality of the medical. These things rarely fail. He wants to join Tottenham as well, which I think here, rules out any kind of thought or feeling of gate crashing or hijacking, which has very much been the theme of this summer. Richarlison wants Tottenham. He's a big target of Antonio Conte, and he will be adding him to the ranks of Tottenham Hotspur next season. £60 million is the reported agreed fee between the two football clubs, which makes this a sizable investment. Of course, Basuma has already arrived. Ivan Perisic is at the football club already. And look, there's Jed Spence, where there's £1 million, £1.5 million difference in kind of fees. You've got the situation with Clement Lenglet, who's also due to become a Tottenham player as well. Centre-back area needs to be addressed, but the Tottenham board financially are getting behind their manager without a shadow of a doubt. 60 million in its entirety. Some people are saying 50 million plus 10 million add-ons. Cool. 60 million in its entirety, 50 plus 10 if we're going to get down into the crux of it. And we've seen a lot of it this year with football clubs where, Man United will pay 85 million euros for De Jong. 65 million of that will be paid up front as an example. But it's a big deal irrespective for Tottenham. And I think for me, this is something Tottenham fans, it depends on what you think and feel. I see Spurs fans torn. I see some Spurs fans a bit frustrated with this deal. I see others happy that the club is backing the manager. Now, what I would say is this. It appears that the targets that Spurs are targeting, even the ones they've missed out on, and Bastoni would be an example, are endorsed by Antonio Conte and Paratici. And I think that's the crux of this, which I think Spurs fans should be focusing on. You are spending the money on your manager. You're giving your manager backup. You're improving the first team squad. You're bringing in some tried and tested quality. And I think the profile and age of these players is key. Now, I don't even know Richarlison's age without checking it, right? But some will say, well, why would you mention the age then? Because what is he, 24? 25. I knew he was in his mid-20s without even checking because of the way he looks. He looks about mid-20s. But you look at the age of Perisic, you look at the age of Basuma, you look at the age of Richarlison, and it's a great age. He's not adding babies that have barely kicked a ball. What he is doing is he's adding experience, but players have still got a shelf life. So there's a kind of the theory that goes around about Antonio Conte that he essentially everything's for the here and now. And there's an element of truth in that. He isn't the type of manager that's going to go out and sign 2 or 3 young 18-year-old starlets and properly bleed them in over a season. That isn't really his style per se. Of course, he'll develop some youth players. All managers do over the course of time. But he isn't also going out and buying 29-year-olds that he's only going to get a season or 2 out of. This isn't the case. And I think this is where, like, there's a bit of a myth around his football. Equally, does he play the most pragmatic, beautiful on the eye football? No. But is he overly defensive and negative in every moment of every game? Does he play like peak Sam Allardyce? No. I mean, it's an exaggeration as always. But the age profile of the players is excellent because it means they can be successful now. But on top of that, it gives them the ability to be able to grow and progress from that position. And I think that's what's really key here. It's 3, 4, 5 years. And I'm really intrigued to see how long Antonio Conte lasts at Tottenham. Again, a little bit like rivals of Chelsea saying, Roman's gone, you're going to fall apart. Roman's gone, it's all done, it's all dusted for you. If Antonio Conte is looked after, if Antonio Conte is respected, if Antonio Conte is given the tools that he desires, he could stay at Tottenham 3, 4, 5 years. There's no doubt that he could do that. You've only got to look at his the first time that he was at Juve, sort of 3 years as an example, and he only really moved on for the Italy job. He was very happy at Chelsea until Chelsea didn't give him what he wanted in the window. In fact, he was very happy at Inter Milan. But what did Inter Milan do? They lied to him. They said, we're not going to sell your star players, and then sold his star players, and he left. So from my point of view, I see a manager here where if Tottenham can get behind him, if Tottenham can keep improving the squad each window, keep being ambitious, they will keep Antonio Conte. Let him win the battles. There doesn't need to be any arrogance from the board here. But I do want to get your thoughts and your feelings. £60 million, is that too much? Where's your head at with this deal? Is it too much money for Richarlison in its entirety? £50 million, as we know, as the base fee, as it were. Too much, not enough? Let me know your thoughts and feelings. Let's go to your live comments here. Conte wants to see armpits this season. I don't understand that comment. I don't get it. Explain that to me. Maybe that's going right over my head, me old mate. Started out with Boom Zuma. Now Clement no legs is what Oba 1 has got to say there. Terry Lenglet also will be back. Sorry, this is so hard to read. Will also be back. CB Ali Gold also said Spurs will also sign another centre-back. Also, Conte wants at least 6 to 8 signings this summer. Look, I've read so many things out there. Look, Spurs aren't done yet. Spurs are going to motor on forward. I suppose this is the point I'd make to Tottenham fans. Lenglet, Richarlison. I see most rivals kind of sniggering. I see most rivals kind of laughing. But didn't most rivals, didn't most of your competitors, didn't most people laugh at Bentancur? Didn't people laugh at Kulusevski? They did, didn't they? That's the one thing I would say to Spurs fans today who are getting a little bit of banter, who are getting a little bit of stick, who are getting a little bit of needle. Nobody thought that those 2 signings in January were going to work. The one thing about Antonio Conte is he has this innate ability to be able to hide a player's flaws and elevate their strengths to a point where people were crying for Eric Dyer to be back in the England team. Where a year ago, if you'd have said Eric Dyer for England, somebody would have tried to section you. So, look, Lenglet, is he somebody that's achieved what he was expected to achieve a few years back? Is he kind of the player that people expected him to go on to be? No. He's a very good player. Has he been the star that everybody expected? Probably not. However, he ain't a bum. Antonio Conte fancies this player. 27 years of age, played at Barca, Sevilla, Champions League, European experience. I'm sure he's, not many caps, but he's played for France 15 times. This is an experienced player that can really help elevate what it is that they're doing. Now, we're going to open up the line for you to come on and have your say. Please make sure you're smashing that like and that share button for us this morning. How can Barca afford all these players? Well, we know why, Tim. Surely you've been reading the news. So, of course, they're going to sell some people, but also they've sold off a large percentage, around 25% of their TV rights money. So in Spain, clubs essentially do their own TV deals. Unlike in the Prem, where the Premier League does it and then they give you the money, in Spain, the clubs do their own TV deals. They've got all their money in order for TV deals, but what they've done is sold those 25% of it off to other companies for large, exorbitant amounts of money. That is being pumped into the club. From tomorrow, the first sort of 200 to 250 million euros is being pumped into the football club. Once that comes in, they can then go back to what they call one-to-one ratio of spending 100% of the income they make through the sale of players on new individuals, plus they have money in reserve to be able to spend. Equally, the majority of transfers are not paid cash lump sums up front. They are paid over the course of the contract. So if they sign Lewandowski on a 3-year deal at 35 million pounds, that's going to cost them around £3.5 to £4 million per year. So the upfront transfer fee for that player day one is going to be around 3.5. It will be around 10 million. Sorry, my maths is off there. Sorry. It'll be around 10 to 10.5 million pounds year one. Of course, they're saving huge salaries with people like De Jong leaving. He's on £354,000 a week. He will leave. They will be able to put that salary over to somebody else. So it's not hard really to see the affordability here, especially after selling the TV deals and everything else. Now, I'm going to open up the lines for you to come on and have your say this morning. Tottenham fans, we want to hear from you. Man United fans as well, we're talking Antony. I know a lot of people want to speak Rafinha. I know a lot of people want to speak about that deal and the Martinez deal. Look, we've done those deals to death yesterday. If you want to phone in and speak about them, feel free to. We'll report on them later on today when more news comes out. Nothing's changed since our video that came out last night. It is a big day. But until those meetings happen, there's nothing more to report on right now. Nothing has changed in those deals from yesterday evening. Let me put the link in the live comment section now, my people. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you all this morning. I want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling about these deals. I'm going to pin the live comment up. We had another super chat that came through from my guy, Will, who says, so many Arsenal fans salty in the chat today as they signed the backup to our backup. Couldn't write it better, is what's being said there by Will. So Spurs fans, I want to hear from you. I want to know what's going on in your minds. Are you happy? Are you frustrated? Where do you sit with this? And I do feel like, I'll be honest with you, I do feel like these deals are, I want to say it in the right way. I do feel like these Spurs deals are maybe a little bit unfashionable, barring Basuma, in terms of you're not buying players that are trendy on Twitter. I think that's fair to say. They're not trendy on Twitter. And when you get a player that isn't trendy on Twitter, people scoff at that. And I'll give you an example. I saw Gooners saying yesterday, let Man United go get Pau Torres. We'll get Lisandro Martinez much better. I laughed to myself a little bit. Now, I think there's a big possibility that Lisandro Martinez is better than Pau Torres. There is. But 3 months ago, if you'd have said Martinez over Pau Torres, everyone on Twitter would have laughed at you because nobody was talking about Lisandro Martinez until Man United and Arsenal got linked to him through the connection of Erik Ten Hag. No one was chatting about him. No one. Go to the TL. Everyone talking about him now. Search their at, do the advanced search, their at, his name, and go back from the summer last year until the 1st of May this year and see how many people were talking about him compared to Pau Torres. This is my point. Fashionable opinions. Oh, if I tweet about how good Martinez is, I'm going to get more likes. I'm going to get more retweets. Is that what's going on here with this situation? We strive. I don't know what that means. We fancy signings. We tried. I think you meant to say they tried. Cool. My dyslexia really kicked in there. We tried fancy signings Ndombele, Lo Celso. If Richarlison is what Conte wants, that's all that matters. And that's what I want to hear from Spurs fans today. The only thing that confused me about it, and say confused me, I saw a lot of Spurs fans saying he'll come in as a backup. I don't think you spend 50 plus 10, 60 in its entirety on a backup. That, for me, sounds like a first-team player, or at least someone who is going to feature very heavily and get a sizable amount of minutes in the majority of games. Of course, the 5-sub rule is here. Champions League football, rotation for Harry Kane because he isn't getting any younger. You know, it'd be nice for I wonder how good Harry Kane would be if he actually got rested. It actually got time where he could go through games and not have to play. I think you may see a sharper player in the Premier League, and we know what a specialist Antonio Conte is. Now, I'm going to go to your calls in a minute. Hark here says, morning, Terry. As an Arsenal fan, I'm worried what Spurs are doing. Richarlison ain't seen as the best, but is quality enough. Got a feeling Spurs will be challenging for the league this season. It's not the first person to say Spurs could challenge for the league. So that's going to be the poll today. That's going to be the poll that we run on the channel this morning. And I'm going to write this in. Can Tottenham challenge for the league title? I think I spelled it all right. The poll's now up. I want to know if you think they can or not. I really want to hear from you on that. Now, some of the other news that has come out today that I want to show you. Antony is encouraging Ajax that any offers should be seriously considered. Of course, speaking about Manchester United coming in for him, looking to buy him. He wants this move. The irony, rejected FC, wanted again by an additional player. And this is an interesting one for me because I feel like the attacking elements, you've got Martial's back. You've got Martial, you've got Rashford, you've got Jadon Sancho, you've got Ronaldo, you've got... of course, Alanga that's part of the squad. And you've got players like Palestri and Ahmad that are going to be given an opportunity and chance at pre-season. Man United are, I'm not going to say stacked like they're all brilliant, but Man United have got a lot of options at the moment in those areas, especially if you're just going to get away with it for another year, if that makes sense. Fixing midfield, at least 2 midfielders, bringing in a centre-back and full-back. If you would ask me which is the area that really needs focus, they would be it. If Mason Greenwood was still part of Manchester United, 110%, we would say we wouldn't be wanting a new attacker. We'd say, we've got Greenwood, we've got René, it's fine. So we have to be it's one of those things where you almost don't want to deviate too much from the plan. If Eriksen signs, I do believe the money would save on not buying another midfield player will be invested into an attacker, and it could then be Antony. I know a lot of people want to attack Ten Hag because his talent ID is reportedly bad because he's going for players he's managed before. As I've stated, Man United fans need not worry about this. Other clubs want him and think he's brilliant, but Man United have been told we shouldn't sign him because our manager's got to prove to them. Our manager's got to prove to rival fans that he can spot talent that he hasn't seen before. It's a bit like Terrell Malacia. He was a player that he was going to sign at Ajax, but he's just going to bring him to Man United instead. Fairly normal, in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure Pep would have loved to have taken Messi and Xavi and Iniesta to Bayern. I'm pretty sure he would have done. I'm sure Klopp would have loved to have taken Lewandowski from Bayern, of course, who he had at Dortmund, to Liverpool. But it was just an impossible deal to get done. So I wouldn't worry about it too much in relation to that. Super chat here from Josh, my guy Josh. He says, just happy we have signed two clubs' best players, is what Josh King is. And this is a true point. They've signed Basuma. And you know what's really interesting this year is the Prem players. The one thing that Spurs and Arsenal and Chelsea are doing, which I like, and to a degree, well, more than a degree, City are doing this with Cucurella that's still to be confirmed, and of course Calvin Phillips that's going to be a City player, is they're kind of, the top six are kind of buying a lot of the top players from other teams. Now, the good thing about this, yes, they might be able to replace those individuals, but this kind of reminds me, when Man United and Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool were kind of the traditional top four and dominating, Blackburn did this in their period and Newcastle did it for a little while as well. What those teams did when they were at the top of the tree, and invariably it was 2 or 3 of them at the top at the same time, is they would just buy the best players from the other Premier League clubs. What that did is it made them stronger, but it also weakened kind of the best of the rest in many ways. You take Basuma out of Brighton and Cucurella. Brighton, they might replace him, but I don't think they'll be as strong next year without those players, especially if they don't sign a goal scorer, because those two are influential in how well they've done. replacing Richarlison at Everton is going to be very difficult for them, even with the £60 million that they've got. It isn't like they've spent money very well in the last however many years. So, Rafinha away from Leeds. Are Leeds getting a player as good as Rafinha? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but we shall see. Weakening those teams is also really important to the top six. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. So these kind of deals, it's not good if you're a United fan. You see Spurs and Arsenal and Chelsea getting better, but they are weakening the rest, which is a positive. If that makes sense, it really is. It's a bit like if the Premier League was to sign the majority of the top players in Europe and have the best managers in Europe here, which we do. It gives you a little bit of an advantage in European competitions. Well, it should. The only disadvantage is that our league is more competitive, which means you don't get to rest and rotate as much. But it's why it's so fun. There we go. I want to hear from you this morning, my people. Of course, lots of content today. Top 6 show, 6 p.m. tonight. Make sure you are tuning in. No better place to be. Breaking records every week with that. But the first caller on the show today, Will's with us. Will is a Tottenham fan. What are you saying, my friend?
I'm saying all kinds of good things today, man. It's 60 million is a lot. I mean, he's got 2 years left on his contract. So if you think about it, Gabriel Jesus, who's arguably about the same level of a striker with 1 year left on his contract, cost him what, 45? So you say last year your contract that drops by at least 20 million. Not bad business for me.
Listen, it's one of those things. This is one of those transfers where if he starts to score, if he performs, if he delivers, the price tag will be forgotten in an instant.
Irrelevant, yeah.
It absolutely does. I remember Bruno Fernandes. It didn't cost 57 million. It was actually around 37 million with 20 million add-ons. But his price tag wasn't mentioned once because for the first 18 months he was here, he scored more goals from open play than any other midfield player in the world. And suddenly no one cared. 57 million. If it goes the other way and he absolutely stinks the place out, Vinicius 2.0, then was it Vinicius? What was the name of that player you signed from on loan last year? I want to say it was Vinicius.
Vinicius, yeah.
It was Vinicius. Like, if it's him, then, of course, the price tag is going to be focused on. It's going to be bantered and lauded over and stuff like that. But what's your take on Spurs fans that are really underwhelmed by this and frustrated by it? What's your thoughts and feelings on that?
I think it was kind of the hype around the amount of money that we supposedly were going to have this summer. So the fact that I guess you could say, done fairly frugal business this window is kind of contrary to what we all expected coming out of, May or whatever. I don't think that they should have necessarily reservations on the price. I think we've only spent, including Basuma right now, we signed almost 6 players. If Lenglet gets 100% across the line, and we've spent not even 80 million yet, right? So yeah. I don't think anybody should necessarily be upset about it. And like a lot of people are saying that Richarlison isn't at Jesus's level, but I don't buy that logic because Richarlison starts over Jesus for his country, and they've scored almost the exact same amount of goals over their time in the Prem. So I don't see how Jesus is playing on a City side who creates 2 to 3 times the amount of chances that Everton has over the last couple seasons. So
yeah, look, it's one of these things with Richarlison. He's a player that, again, I don't necessarily think. I was saying the other day, is 60 million in its entirety, 50 million, is it too much for him? I think it's a little bit overpriced, personally. I do. However, that's only because I was listening to Tottenham fans that are like, he's going to be back up, he's going to be a backup, he's going to be a backup. I don't quite know what Antonio Conte is going to do, but I had this little feeling, this little theory, that maybe with Richarlison and Kane, he's going to try and recreate what he had with Lautaro Martinez and Lukaku.
At Inter, doing a 3-5-2 rather than the 3-4-3.
Maybe that's kind of it. And people say, well, what, because Son, the great thing about Son, you can play that guy anywhere. You can play him in any kind of capacity. Now, I don't know what that does to him. And it may not be that he uses them both in every single game that way. There could be a fluidity to the formations. It could be that's the Champions League formation and the Premier League formation is a little different. Teams have done those things before as well. And Antonio Conte has the palette and experience to be able to drill his team into being able to do that. But what Richarlison does give Tottenham now is that versatility. He gives you something extra. He can play off the flanks if he needs to. He can play through the middle and cover Harry Kane. And I think the cover for Harry Kane is an important point. But I believe he's going to feature quite heavily in this team. Whether some Spurs fans or rivals want to agree with it or not, I don't think you drop this much money for a player that's only coming in every now and then, League Cup games, if you've got any, say you qualify after game 5 in the Champions League, you start game 6. I don't see this guy being a backup. That's why that you buy Danny Ings to do that, in my opinion. Yeah. You go and buy Danny Welbeck to do that. You don't drop 60 million pounds on anybody to be a bit part player. That's the only thing about it that's not made sense to me.
The backup stuff is a little bit just more banter towards the Arsenal folks because of the amount of praise that they've been giving Gabriel Jesus, which isn't a bad signing, to be honest with you. I think he's a good player too. But yeah, I mean, no, Kulusevski isn't a locked-in guaranteed starter over there on that right-hand side either. So you could move Son over that way. I think it just depends on. I think it gives us a lot of tools to be able to break teams down. Whereas we were very stuck in that 3-4-3 last season. Like that's all Conte did, right? The starting lineup was 100% predictable. The substitutions were 100% predictable. And now having Basuma, Richarlison, even Lenglet in defense is going to give us basically a rotation, a depth that we haven't had since 16, 17, 15, 16 season. So
no, totally agree. Will, I really appreciate you coming on and all the support you give the Terrace, my friend. And we'll speak again soon. Cheers, buddy.
Anytime, man.
Thank you very much indeed. We want to hear from you this morning on the Terrace. The link is in the live comment section. Tottenham have signed Richarlison, £50 million plus 10 million of add-ons, 60 million in its entirety, if, of course, this deal is successful. Lenglet is expected to join Tottenham as well as the Antonio Conte revolution continues. We're also talking Antony's demands to join Manchester United today as well. A lot of people still asking about Rafinha. No change in Rafinha. No change in Lisandro Martinez as of now. No change in Christian Eriksen as of now. These decisions are not final. A lot of people still talking about De Jong. Listen, De Jong is done. Okay, there is minor details being taken care of. And I did read this rumor, and I don't normally buy into these. Many United fans are panicking. Oh, my God, this could be the first time in however minute we haven't signed someone in June. What does it matter if they sign on the second or the first or second or third of July? What's the difference? None of the players we're looking to really land right now would actually be even back to training now. They would still be away on a break because of international duty. So people have got to stop their panicking, stop their belly aching, get out the poo-poo, stop being fungus fans and support their football clubs. But as we've stated already, Tottenham fans, you have signed Richarlison. Phone in now to have your say. I do believe there has been a Fabrizio Romano. Here we go as well. Tapping Tier 1 Terry did tweet it was complete this morning. But I just tapped in. But here it is. Fabrizio Romano states here that Tottenham have signed Richarlison on a permanent deal. Here we go. First part of the paperwork now signed with Everton after all agreements on personal terms. And what I do find really interesting is that these personal terms are very quick and very easy to get done. Why? Because 99.9% of deals are that way. 99.9% of deals are done before you know it. But just want to put this out there. Tap Intel. What time to do this? This was about 7:45. Tap Intel there. Do you know what I mean? Listen, you're actually right. I am tier 0.5. Tier 0.5 is where I stand. If you ain't follow me on Twitter, here I am. They're closing in this morning on 70,000 followers. Go give me a little follow there at Terry Flewers. Go and get that done right now. I'm scared to keep that up in case I open up the DM. I don't know what's in the DM. It's normally abuse in the DM, to be honest with you. I wish it wasn't, but there we go. Morning, Terry. What centre back would you prefer? I'd go for De Ligt first. Chelsea are in prime position to sign him. So Man United might want him. Man United haven't got the money for him. Would he go to Tottenham over Chelsea? Probably not. The centre-back area is really interesting because Skriniar was linked to Chelsea as a backup, linked heavily to a first-team opportunity at Tottenham. But the problem with Skriniar is that now PSG look like they're going to come in for him. The player is waiting for PSG to activate his release clause. So there's so much going on with that deal. The centre-back fights are really starting to take shape as things stand right about now. In the private chat, if you're backstage, let me know what you want to speak about just so I can prioritize the calling in that way, please. That would be absolutely great if you guys could help me in that regards. De Jong being unveiled this weekend. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see him unveiled this weekend. I believe that's when the new kit's being launched. So these things do matter. Like, we don't like it, the commerciality side of it, but they matter. The clubs want to show the shirts off. They want to show the new sponsors or the new manufacturer's shirts with the new players. I tell you what Adidas wouldn't want is De Jong holding last year's shirt. Man United don't want that either. De Jong is done. Malacia is done. Eriksen very, very close. Man United fans panicking. Relax your brains. Stop listening to the Fungus fans. Listen, I love Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs isn't confident for Man United. Ben Jacobs says, it's not Man United haven't signed De Jong. Barca have kind of made him sign. I don't really care. He's coming. Either way, I'm happy. It doesn't matter to me. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them things. It's one of them things. Martinez would be funny just for the Arsenal banter. Either way, as long as it's not Harry Maguire. Interesting. 60 million Mbaye for De Ligt would be a steal and bring the band back together to give Ten Hag the click in the dressing room. There is that. There is that element there. Here we go. What a signing is what Pretzel Parker has got to say here. A bit of Terry Romano in the house. Very happy there as a Spurs fan. Nick Mo, happy there as a Spurs fan. Richarlison is done. He is dusted. He is over the line. And how do you think he looks, guys, in a Spurs shirt? What are you all saying? In a Spurs shirt, how does he look? How is he looking in a Spurs shirt to you? What are you thinking? Does he suit it? Oh, a lot of people say it looks all right, I was waiting for a tweet from this guy. This morning. A comment here. My guy, Jerome, probably the first Spurs fan him and Josh are the first two I remember on the terrace. I really hope that Lenglet is not the only left-back Spurs are looking at. Don't rate him at all. I hope they put a bid in for Bremer. Yeah, Bremer's a weird one. Bremer was kind of linked to lots of clubs at the start of the window, gone very quiet. What I will say to people is this, though. There's still 2 months of the transfer window to go. 1st of September, I believe it closes. 2 months left to go, and we're sort of 4 weeks in. So we're 1/3 of the way through. Don't panic yet. Don't panic yet. What was really weird about the last couple of days is fans have been acting like it's the closing of the window. It's almost like, we've got to get this done now. We've got to get this done now. We've got to get this done. We've got to get this over the line. I don't necessarily know if you need to. But there we go. Deco is at Stamford Bridge now. Yes, listen, talks are happening today. As soon as there are updates from that meeting, the Football Terrace will bring them straight to you. Who are we going to go to next on here? We're going to speak to Donovan, and then we're going to speak to KC and young Tommy. A lot of them thinking these calls are coming that Tottenham could challenge. First of all, Donovan's here. What are you saying, mate?
How you doing, Terry?
I'm very well.
Very well.
I've got a bit of an echo from you at the minute. Have you got the stream up?
Yeah, here, get me back. I'll put my headphones on.
Okay, cool. We'll get you back in a minute. Zane's on the show. What are you saying, Zane?
Hi, Terry. So, as you know, earlier I said, that Spurs would finish above Liverpool. Yes, and I think so. Yeah, and I think so. Richarlison is a signing that will add to it. When it comes to Longley, I think so. He's a good backup option, but I think so Spurs need another centre back, because if Romero is injured, I think so the back three does not look as good as like Liverpool or Chelsea or City. So that's one thing. But as far as people reacting over Richarlison, like it's, oh my gosh, too much money. It's 50 million. I do not, like, 2 years left on a contract and 50 million. I do not see how there's too much. Like Timo Werner came in for 40 million. He's definitely a better player than him. And that's the thing. I think so. Spurs either will challenge for the league or they would go to at least the semi-finals in the Champions League. And that's, mate, I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm a Milan fan. I think that's.
I totally get that. Big calls from you there, Zane. I appreciate you coming on, having your say, and all the support you give to the Terrace there. Viewers, do you agree with Zane? He believes Spurs could challenge, but he believes more so that Spurs will finish in front. He believes Spurs will finish in front of Liverpool this year. That is a big, big, big big call, a huge shout to make in a scenario like this. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Young Tommy's coming on. He's an Arsenal fan. What has he got to say?
You're right, Tal. How are you, mate? You good?
I'm very good. What do you want to say, my friend?
Richarlison, good signing for Tottenham. What I rate, he's a quality player. Kane needs competition. Like if Kane gets injured or suspended, Harry Kane, he needs competition. So Richarlison's a good signing for them. Sorry, Everton fans, you've lost your player, but yeah, good signing for them. Like I said to people, I said Tottenham will challenge for the title. Conte's not here to get top foot all the time. He's here to win trophies and win the league. He ain't here to get top foot all the time. He's here to win the league. But yeah, they will challenge for the league. I think they will challenge Liverpool and Man City and finishing above Liverpool. Interesting. If Liverpool, because Liverpool lost Mane, and if Diaz struggle, not Diaz. If Nunes doesn't hit the ground running, then Liverpool could be in trouble, and Tottenham could finish above them. I'm not saying they could, but it's an interesting one. But I just want to say, good signing, Tottenham fans. You're looking bright for the future. And if you guys win the league, I am gonna faint. If you lot win the league, I am gonna cry and faint. But congrats! I wish you the best. I don't like to say it, but I wish you the best, and it is what it is. But yeah, I think they will definitely challenge for the title. But yeah, they'll definitely challenge.
There we go. Young Tommy, thank you very much for the call, my friend. Thank you. Look, Spurs challenging for the title. I'm not going to go that far at this point. Firstly, City are strengthening their title-winning squad already. They're strengthening it to such a degree, such a point already, that it's kind of hard to look beyond them. It's hard to look past them. It's hard to sort of say that somebody else is going to suddenly jump, catch them up, that Spurs are going to catch them up in that way, that easily, as everyone's kind of stating. What you've also got to look at is, look, a lot of people are sort of anticipating this drop-off from Liverpool. Everybody's anticipated a drop-off from Liverpool on a regular basis. I think catching Liverpool and City, being within a few points of them in itself would be a massive achievement. Would you constitute that challenging? Maybe. I think Spurs will be dangerous in the league next year for everybody else, though. In terms of Antonio Conte is a league specialist. If you just looked at their league performances only, Antonio Conte is probably in the top 3, top 4 in the world over the past decade in terms of league manager only. There are question marks over how he does in cup and European competitions, and he has to address that. But in the league alone, I can't think of very many managers in the last decade who have been exponentially better than him in the league. Everywhere he goes, he manages to win league titles. He manages to dominate the domestic element. And, even when he was Chelsea manager, didn't he get 95 points or something stupid like that? Like, he broke that, that was a huge barrier to break. Imagine what Peps and the Klopps get kind of praised for going to 96, 97, 98, 100s. It's only 5 points more than someone that did it prior with, not being funny, a bit of a mismatchy squad. The guy had Victor Moses as a fullback. So we know how good he is as a specialist in league football. And I think that's really, really key. Cedric here says, I am not surprised about deals going through today. It's the last day of the football financial year. Some clubs are sweating over FFP and need to sell today. Yeah, you might find someone to spend today. Like, there's businesses working in very, very many weird and wonderful ways. And some want to spend before the end of the financial year. Some want to wait until the start of the new financial year. Some need to sell, and vice versa. It really depends on their situation and what they've got coming in. James here says, honestly, Salah not signing a new contract could cause some disruption in the dressing room. Losing Mane is a big deal, and basically relying on Nunes to make the numbers up. Well, look, of course, there's a possibility that Liverpool could be not as good this season. I think to say that's an impossibility would be wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen. Personally, I don't think Liverpool are going to have this big drop off where everybody else overtakes them, and they're fighting hard to make top 4. I think they'll make top 4 comfortably as things stand right now. A comment here from Jay, who's a member, says Tottenham becomes serious team now with those additions. Top 4 difficult now for teams like United and Arsenal. I think top 4 were difficult irrespective because of who Antonio Conte is, what he's achieved, how he operates, and the things of which he does. I think it was always going to be a difficult scenario and a difficult situation for those teams. But remember, if all the teams are brilliant, not making the Champions League is detrimental financially, but you could be a brilliant team this year and come 5th. How your team plays, how competitive you are in games, the level of points that you win, what you do in the cup runs, all of that is key. Because if Chelsea fulfill the potential their fans think they can, if Tottenham reach the levels they think they will, if Man United and Arsenal get to the levels they think they're at, someone's got to miss out. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad manager, you know, or a bad team. And we've been kind of treading on the edge of this for a while. The problem we've had is some of the clubs didn't have the right managers. You know, when you had Nuno at Spurs, when you had Ollie at Manchester United, these guys just weren't good enough to compete with the elite of the elite. With Ten Hag coming and Antonio Conte being here, Tuchel now being fully backed, it really does change things. But breaking news this morning, if you've only just tuned in, Richarlison is a Tottenham Hotspur player. That deal is done. That deal is dusted. That deal is over the line and finished. The here we go has happened from Fabrizio Romano. He will be a Tottenham player, as shared by myself this morning, just over nearly 2 hours ago. The deal is complete. Done deal, as they're the dark tick between the clubs. Personal terms agreed, and now the contracts are signed. He is a Tottenham player. We want your thoughts. We want your feelings. You want to take your calls now. The link is pinned to the top of the live comment section. Interesting comment here. It says, Chelsea talking to PSG about a Neymar loan. Are they? I'll have a little look on that one there. No Rafinha news as of now. We know that Dzeko is in London. We know that he's talking to Chelsea today. And look, this is the interesting side of things. I tweeted yesterday morning and I stand by it. I believe that Rafinha has agreed personal terms with Chelsea. But you will know my stance on this. Agreeing personal terms does not mean you complete the deal. Because he's already agreed personal terms with Barcelona. They're done, right? He hasn't signed for them. Because all the ducks have got to fall in place. The Leeds deal is there. The terms that Chelsea have offered Rafinha are fine. What Chelsea are doing today is convincing him to sign. They're not going to offer him more money. They're not going to offer him better squad status. They're going to speak about the project and how they think. It's all going to be, today is the soft stuff. Today is the important things in that meeting. Barcelona, by the way, are not predicted to be able to afford the £60 million that Leeds have already accepted from Chelsea. But those talks today will be absolutely pivotal. I think Matt Law said that there's a broadly agreed terms. I don't really know what that means. Broadly means most of it, which is pretty much what I was told yesterday. But you know me, I don't piss about with the semantics. They're done. It's just about the player deciding. It's like with Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen has agreed and is happy with the money, the squad status, and everything Man United have offered. He just doesn't know if he wants to move to Manchester. It's not about the terms. It's about where do I want to play football. There is such a fundamental difference. And I get very annoyed that the media don't talk about that. It's not the same thing. I might offer you everything you want, the salary, the bonus, the holidays, the sick pay. But you might want to work for another company. Doesn't mean you're not happy with the terms. It's whether you agree to join. That's what's happening today. Thank you, Ilias, for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. It means a great deal to me. It really, really does. Big up yourself, everyone that's subscribing to the channel and keep supporting us moving forward. Thank you very, very much indeed. Brand new member on the TFT. Barca can't afford toilet paper. No, I've heard that. Liverpool will struggle to get top 4 without any more signings. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I'd love it to be true, but I don't know. Lenglet at Tottenham is a match made in heaven, is what Barca DNA has got to say here. Any news on Cucurella? Nothing new to update in that, but I'm sure that will see itself over the line pretty soon. It feels like it's going to happen. Spurs get top 4 easy. This noise is silly. A lot of Spurs fans do think they're getting top 4 simplistically, top 4 easy. Do you all agree? We're going to get Donovan back on the show now to have his say. What are you saying, Donovan? You're on mute, by the way.
Hey, does that sound better?
Perfect.
Yeah, happy days. Early signings in. Now we got another striker. We've fixed the Harry Kane conundrum that's been plaguing us for the last 5 seasons. Get some backup because he's not getting any younger. He's not a spring chicken. And I think we can put a title challenge together. We'll fly under the radar. I know Conte is going to be smart about it. He's not going to put his chest out in the media and start putting the pressure on. But you look back to when Jose was in charge, not even 3 seasons ago, and look at the state of the squad then, and we totally faltered. We were top of the league end of December, and typical Tottenham, we bottled it, and I think we finished outside the top 4 that season. But now with the backing and our new stadium rocking back to full capacity, we have the opportunity now to do what the likes of United and Liverpool have done, is have a fortress. And all things are looking forward to at least a good top 4 finish.
Yeah, listen, I mean, title challenge. I mean, that's a big claim. What do you think Antonio Conte and these new signings are going to bring to Spurs to give them the continuity and the consistency to be able to challenge this brilliant City and Liverpool team for the title?
Yeah, well, these players aren't coming in from another league. I mean, Perisic maybe, but Bissouma and Richarlison, 50 goals in an Everton team that's a mid-table, barely any service, carrying them on the back for the last 3 years. He knows what to expect. He brings a little level of shithousery that you want in a team, right? Nothing against Harry or Son or Kulusevski, but that's not that type of player they are. They don't know what it's like to go up against the opposing center backs and really give them problems in physicality and get under their skin. They're the good goal scorers and they're good technicians, but you got that flair. Matching Christian Romero at the back, because Christian Romero is a complete different breath of life for us. And Bissouma in the midfield, we already have a solid Bentancur and Højbjerg partnership. So with Bissouma bringing in that fresh rotation of legs and Oliver Skip coming back from injury, we have a squad depth problem that we haven't had actually in the last decade, I would say. So that's what the big teams have, right? Like you could argue that Liverpool would still get top 4 with their second string. Same thing with Manchester City. So if we sort the squad out, which we have, and we're not nearly done signing yet, I think Conte still wants 4 or 5 more players, and we still have 100 some million to draw from Enik, and we still have our own match revenue, haven't even touched yet. And if we also improve in January, there's no reason to say we can't be up there with the best.
Listen, Donovan, I like the confidence, my friend. I really do in backing your team. Thanks for calling in and having your say. Really appreciate it, my guy. Top man. Thank you. Spurs fans feeling confident here. Jerome says, if Chelsea get all their targets, they will be dangerous. It's going to be very tough season. I think it's going to be a very brilliant. Tough, yes. I think it's going to be an absolutely barnstorming season. It really is going to be a barnstorming season. It really is. There's absolutely no doubt about it whatsoever. I want any trophy this season, Carabao Cup or FA Cup, as a start to a successful season. That will be real winning. Let's be real winning. The league is an almost impossible ask. And I get you on that. I think, look, the league is very hard indeed for Tottenham this year. But Antonio Conte is so good in the league. I'm not suggesting they will win. I think right now, my top 4, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs. In no particular order right now. I would predict right now City win the league again, to be fair. But that's the top 4. Arsenal and Man United have got to be absolutely brilliant. Because I think Chelsea and I think Tottenham are going to be very good. You look at the business that Chelsea are going to do. Sterling, going to happen. Rafinha, very likely. If it isn't Rafinha, they could go for Antony. If it isn't Antony, they may go back in for Dembele to see what happens. There's talks of loans of Neymar. I've got to verify that, but there's talks of it. De Ligt, Ake, they could still bring in Jules Koundé, and don't write out off a move for a proper central midfield player. Chelsea are going to do bits as well. It's going to be what I think maybe one of the best seasons ever. Where do I think Arsenal will finish? As it stands right now, and only as it stands right now, I'm saying 5th. But they bring in an alternative to Rafinha. They bring in Lisandro Martinez. They bring in Yuri Tielemans still. And my mind might change. This is what I want to be really honest with when it comes to these signings, what everybody's looking at doing. It's so hard to judge now because the window hasn't closed. We haven't seen these teams play football. I'm basing it purely on last season, how they were playing, and the business done so far. And that isn't Arsenal finishing 5th without improving. But that's only because everybody else's business looks like it's going to be better. not better, but also good enough to keep them above them, to keep them better. But we don't know yet. Let's see what happens. If Chelsea's deals don't materialise and Spurs do no more business after this, but Arsenal sign those players, my mind might change. So I don't think any prediction you make now isn't set in stone. It's all on paper that can be changed and differentiated later on down the line. Let's have a little look here. David thinks they'll come 6th or 7th. I don't think Arsenal will come 6th or 7th or 8th. Sorry, I just don't think that will happen, if I'm being honest. Richarlison is Brazilian who starts for Brazil. Can Jesus say that? So salty Arsenal fans. Ronald here says the top 4 race will be interesting than people actually think it will be. We just need to wait for the transfer window to close. Yeah, but I think it will be more interesting. I mean, you can make your predictions, but it's definitely going to be interesting. I think there's going to be lots of twists and turns. But this is where football fans need to maybe... Listen, everyone, what's your expectations for Ten Hag? Honestly, my only expectation right now is I want to see style, I want to see better football, and I want us to become more and more competitive over the course of the season. A lot of people say, what about top 4? What about a trophy? Depends. If Spurs, Chelsea and Arsenal are cack and we don't make the top 4, I'll be annoyed. But imagine if Chelsea and Spurs are both 10 points better next year. What if Arsenal are 8-9 points better next year? That means we've got to be like, that's 17, 18, 19, 20 points better to finish in front of them. That's a really difficult thing to do. So there's so many moving parts. It's hard to kind of assess and judge fully as things stand right now. Jerome here says, now that Frankie de Jong is practically a done deal, Man United will ramp up their other deals because they will need to strengthen. That is a guarantee. Look, I said it to Ben Jacobs yesterday evening on the terrace on the Done Deal show. I get that United keep briefing the press. They've got 100 to 120 million budget, that they won't deny they've got more money. I am so happy to hear that. Right, again, right, oh, you only got 100 million. Great. I was sick and tired every year of us talking about this 150, 200 million pound war chest that we never actually spent more than once. Like we had years where we spent over 150 mil. But like, we always made it difficult by our clubs thinking we were rich. The fact that everyone's convinced we've got no money is great. It's brilliant. What an amazing... That in itself is an amazing piece of business. We've convinced people that the richest club in England, in terms of what it generates, is poor. We've convinced people that a club, right, with the size of our fan base has got no money. No money. How have we done that? Can you imagine? Like, it's like Jay-Z and Beyonce trying to convince you they're broke. You know when people used to say that Michael Jackson was bankrupt? The guy owns the rights to the song Happy Fucking Birthday. He owned all the rights to the Beatles songs. He owned the rights to his own songs. He owned 49% of Sony Music. How was he ever broke? He owned Neverland. How was he broke? He might not have been cash rich, but he was never broke. Like, honestly, people hired money so they don't pay certain things, right? Come on now. That's rich man crimes there. I love them. Rich man crimes always make me die, bro. How people do stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's an activist in the UK called Tommy Robinson. Now, I'm not a supporter of his at all. Scumbag. But he went bankrupt and everybody was laughing at him, and then his wife left him and divorced him. But there's all these photos of him on holiday and always chilling with his wife. And I'm like, don't you guys see what he's done? All the money he raised through all this hundreds of thousands of pounds, he's given to his wife. They've then got divorced. Then he's got bankrupt. Because they're divorced, she has no there's no obligation for her to give any of that money over to the bankruptcy. Therefore, he keeps all the money. You get what I mean? So when people sue him, the money's still safe. Listen, the guy's a dick, but I get what he got no money. You idiots, he has got money. Like, this is the crazy thing. Rich people and businesses know how to hide money. Like, it's just done. The accountants do it for you. Creative accounting. Neeks is watching. Neeks knows what I'm talking about. Creative accounting. Creative accounting. It exists. It's true. There we go. Richarlison, not sure what to think of this deal. Yeah, a lot of people kind of feel like that. They don't know what to make of it. They don't know what they think of it. Oh, look, they've finally added it to the Football Terrace. I'm so happy. I've been waiting for this for a long time. We've now got it available. Thank you to Ober5 for gifting 5 memberships. It's something we can't put up on the screen. Streamer doesn't allow us to do it. But thank you very much to Ober1 for gifting the Football Terrace 5 memberships. I've actually been waiting for them to turn that on the Football Terrace for a while, because we've got some new stuff we're going to start doing with the member side of things as we start the new season. We've got the scarves ready to send out. We're going to be doing 1 or 2 exclusive shows per week only for members and stuff like that, just in the pipeline that me and KJ are planning. But I wanted to wait, but it didn't turn on the gifting for us. It didn't allow us to gift the memberships. That's now available, so gifting can be done. Very happy about that indeed. So thank you very much for the gifts that you've sent out. If anyone wants to do that, let go and get it done. Might do a few myself, actually. Let me go and do that. I'm going to gift a few myself now live on the air as well. Let me go and do that. I don't quite know what it means yet. I'm so old and dumb. I don't really get it. But let's just have a little Luke here for a minute, right? Let me just go to my stream. Okay, I'm on my own stream here. How do you do it? Is there a way I can do? How do you actually do it? I can see it's been done by my guy. So, but how do you actually do it? I'm gonna make. There we go. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to press. Yeah, everyone can gift the memberships. I don't quite know how to do it though. I don't know. I have to work out how to do it later. I just thought there'd be a button that you press gift. I don't know. But there you go. Get your gifts in. But with 10 new members on this show is absolutely amazing. So thank you very, very much for doing that. Yeah, I am a boomer. I don't know if I'm a boomer. I don't know what generation I am. I don't think I'm a boomer. I actually think I'm not. I'm too young to be a boomer. Boomers are 45 to no, I'm not. That's like 46 to 60s. What generation am I? I do think I count as I'm not Generation X. I'm a millennial. I'm actually a millennial, to be fair. It's Gen Z that are the strange ones, I think. But I'm a millennial. That's what I am. Thank you very much for the super chat there, my guy. I appreciate that very, very much indeed. I do. How do you send a gift, people? Can someone tell me how to do it? And I'll gift. I'm going to gift like some members now. Terry just old. Nice one. Tell me how to gift. Tell me how to send these gifts and I'll get it done. But I don't know how to do it. Do you know what it is? I don't do a lot of stuff. Like I'm a YouTuber and I do YouTube, but I don't do a lot outside of YouTube. Does that make sense? Like I kind of do the football stuff and then I roll on to other things. Maybe I can't gift into my own channel. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird actually, because there's not even a button always to join as a member. The links, by the way, if you want to become a member, is in the description below. So yeah, in the description below, you can become a member. If you want to become one, let me just get the link for you now, and I'll post it in the live comment section and pin it up there. Maybe it's all on that. Maybe it's there. You can do it. Let me just smash that. I'll repin it because I know a lot of you like becoming members. I know a lot of you like it. By the way, you can do all these types of things on Twitch. We've got some big stuff coming up on Twitch, by the way. Let me announce this now on the Football Terrace, actually. So on Twitch, we will be doing exclusive watch-alongs next season, but we are going to be running auditions. The tweet's going to come out this weekend where we're going to open up auditions to have at least one person from each of the top 6 clubs and then a sprinkling of people from the other members of the Premier League to join our exclusive watch-alongs. Now, we're not going to reveal how our watch-alongs are going to be because we don't want any other channel taking the idea, but they're not going to be like Don Robbie or Goldbridge or True Geordie. Those guys have nailed that down. They do it impeccably. There's no point doing the same. What we're going to do is very, 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 very different. And so we're going to be holding auditions for it coming very soon. Plus, exclusively on Twitch, that Arsenal show, that Tottenham show, that Chelsea show, that City show, that Liverpool show, and that United show will be back. Club-specific podcast back on Twitch exclusively. So make sure you're following us on our Twitch account. The link is in the description below. Go and get that done, my people. Ober1's actually here who did the gifting. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, can you hear me, Terry?
Yeah, I can. How'd you do it? How'd you do it?
Yes, it was a button underneath the super chats.
Oh, underneath the super chats.
Yeah,
Oh.
but maybe you can't do it because it's your channel, like which.
Oh
that
no,
really
I found it. I found it. I found it.
You
I
got
found
it?
it. I found it.
Nice.
It's under the super chat button. There it is. So I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna match you. I'm gonna give 5 here. There we go.
Nice.
There we go. There we go. That's how you do it, people. It's by the super chat button. I'm actually buzzing now that's been done. Right, there we go. I'm gonna give 5 memberships as well. What happens at who gets them then?
No, it was random. I did it, and then it just picked like 5 random people.
Oh, it picks 5 random people that get it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So I've just done that as well, people. I've just gifted 5 memberships out to the Football Terrace as well as our channel. So thank you very, very much. Oh, hang on, there we go. So who's got it? That Cedric was given it. Ashore was given it because it tells you on this one here. Who else was given the membership? Hanso was given it. Aston was given it. And Darrell, you got the memberships, people. So there we go. If you guys watching want to give some memberships out, get that done right about now on the Football Terrace. We've got lots coming for you guys exclusively. So looking forward to it. But what are you here to say, my friend?
Yeah, I just want to speak about Lenglet. I've been a Barca fan, for years, and that guy, like he had one good season, and then from that point on, he's regressed every year. And I know like Barca's had a lot of fluctuation and stuff like that, but he just lacks mentality to me. And I don't think definitely coming to the Premier League where it's more physical, he has no chance because his game is very much a finesse, passing, kind of methodical. And once he, tries to press somebody and gets past, he's not good. He can't recover. He has no recovery pace. So, yeah, I just think Spurs just got, I think I heard people saying like, oh, like he's a good backup, but I think if they're trying to really challenge for the league, he's not it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know enough about him. He's not a player that I know enough about to kind of comment on. My only kind of view to people is Conte was able to get 95 points with Victor Moses playing fullback.
Yeah, but Victor Moses had the physical qualities, and to me with Lenglet, it's more the physical qualities, and it's a style of play. I think certain teams he might be good in. Like I also even like maybe like Man City as a backup, I think he could even be decent. But I think for Conte style of play, I don't know if he'll translate.
Listen, I hear you. I think that's a fair point, my friend. It's a fair point that you raise. Chelsea fans, do you agree? I want to say thank you for gifting out the memberships on the terrace. It means a great deal to us, my friend. And we'll chat again soon. Thank you very, very much indeed. So you want to gift out memberships, people, that is now available on the terrace. It wasn't before. Like the other day I checked and it wasn't available, but now it is. So at least we know that's doable now I'm not too sure who the other people were that it was given to, if I'm being honest. Because I didn't see when it was happening live. I'm trying to work it all out, but there we go. KC's here with us now. What are you saying, KC?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Lenglet.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think Spurs are now my second favorite English club. They took Royal from us, and now they're taking Lenglet from us. But I do think that he might actually work in a back three because Koeman actually played back three with Barca for a while, and he looked half decent in that. But he will not work in a back four.
Listen, I hear what you're saying, my friend. I do. I think there's a lot of Tottenham fans, that share your frustration. Like they're frustrated based on what you're saying. That is he really good enough? Is he really where they want him to be? But could Antonio Conte pull him? Antonio Conte made the likes of Davis. He made Doherty. He made Eric Dyer all look really good last year in the end. So
no, I'm telling you, Dyer and Maguire are much better than him.
Dyer and Maguire are much better than him.
Oh, much better.
Wow. That's a big claim. KC, I appreciate your support, mate, and calling in. Thank you very, very much indeed. Top man. Thank you. Listen, viewers, I appreciate all of you that have tuned in today. Thank you to all the new members. 15 new members in one show. Absolutely impeccable. Thanks to the super chats, the likes as well. We're back later today with more content for you. More content for you. No shadow of a doubt. Top 6 show on later as well. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.